Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, or you find a way to lose. Hey, I told y'all that Bob Arum, the secret society, I told you that's real.
We control a lot of the money because we control a lot of the money because we control a lot of the money now.
What does Bob Arum mean when he says we control a lot of the money? We control a lot of the money now. I need somebody to explain that to me. All right, so now this is what's going on in boxing right now. I ain't here to talk about no damn Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence, some of those videos I have fun with, Deontay Wilder, AJ. I'm not here to talk about that. What we need to talk about is money in boxing that seems to be drying up in certain areas and that seems to be forming in other areas. And the money that's drying up, who it's affecting, and this money that seems to be forming, who it's benefiting. Okay? And then we got to ask, how is it possible? Take a look at what's going on with Showtime. What's going on with PBC. Okay? Pay attention. All this talk about Showtime, 2024 is the last year in boxing. They just decided that they're hemorrhaging millions of dollars, right? They put on some great events. The events do well, but when you look at all the events and everything that's being put on and all the costs associated with them being involved with boxing, it hasn't been lucrative. Now, what I'm going to say is this. I don't know how true that is. But it's not just content creators talking about it, because I don't listen to shit they say. You know what I'm saying? They'll say any goddamn thing to get someone to click on the video. But there's enough people outside of content creators that have been talking about this Paramount crap, Showtime. It's been going on for a while now. That leads me to believe maybe where there's smoke, there's some fire. So let's understand, right? If that's true, that Showtime is going out of boxing, now you got to take a look, right? Why is it that Bob Arum is out here talking now about how they control most of the money? Who is we for Bob Arum? See, I want to know, how is it that Showtime the money's drying up? PBC, their fighters aren't as active as they once were. The paydays aren't what it wasn't. They had to come up with this new way. I call it paying fighters on the curb. I did a video about this over a year ago. You know, people didn't pay attention to that video that I did, where I was talking about the new way of paying fighters. Instead of giving them guarantees, they say, hey, you know, instead of giving you a guarantee of $5 million, $6 million, I'll give you a guarantee of $500,000, $250,000, and then we'll put your event on pay-per-view. And if your event does well, you make gazillions. More than likely, it won't, because a lot of people just don't buy pay-per-view anymore. And that's the model that PBC, that Showtime had gone to ensure a lot of their fighters would sign to fight with the hopes that there would be this huge upside from pay-per-view sales. It hasn't quite worked out that way. I don't care what no one says. I've talked about this in other videos, and I'm just going to use Deontay Wilder for example. You can't make me believe that when Deontay Wilder fought Hellenius that Deontay Wilder made more than $5 million that fight, based off selling about 77,000 pay-per-views, right? And at that price point. And then the money, how it gets split. You can't tell me that that man took home more than $5 million. Now my understanding is Deontay Wilder gets a guarantee. Someone told me like 20 million, with it, no matter what. Now, to that, I said, hey, if it's true that Wilder gets a guarantee of 20 million, that means that PBC, Showtime, or whoever is giving that guarantee, that means they're in the business to lose money. Because you can't tell me that Hellenius fight, Hellenius and Wilder, that event generated over $20 million. They ain't even break even. So now you come and take a look at everything that's been bubbling up out there in the Middle East. Look at who's been out there in the Middle East. Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, Mauricio the Nose Suleiman, right? And there's some fighters who've gone over there. Now, I've said this before, and I don't have any proof of this, but I truly believe that Crawford and Spence fight, I truly believe that money and those guarantees that was all in the contract. I truly believe that some of that secret society was behind putting up that dough. Now the event went on to do well, but you can't make me believe that there was no money, not enough money, to put up huge guarantees for Crawford and Spence, which is what the fighters wanted. You can't make me believe that Showtime, Arum, Eddie Hearn, everyone, those guys operating at a strategic level as promoters, key decision makers, network execs. You can't make me believe that all of those people felt like Crawford and Spence. It generates a buzz, but not a Mayweather-McGregor buzz, not a Canelo Mayweather buzz, not a Mayweather-Pacquiao buzz. So as a result, they want to stay away from it. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, oh, we ain't worried about the buzz, and we're not worried about the money because we have it now. What happened? Where'd the money come from? Nobody talking about that, except for me. And I still wonder. So, coming full circle, you've been on the channel for a while. You know, I'm always talking about the secret society. I'm always talking about money. I'm always talking about what the hell going on out there in the Middle East. Now, moving over to Africa, right? So then Bob Arum comes out, and now he says that they control most of the money now. The reason that conversation came up because it talks about Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. And if Shakur would have to go over to PBC to make that fight, I'm scratching my damn ear. And that's what got under Bob's skin. And Bob, he got emotional for a moment, and he spilled the beans. And I'm telling you, I've been saying it, the secret society is real. And by Bob Arum saying, we control most of the money now. And he said Saudi Arabia. He said that. You go watch that clip. It's out there. I was like, damn, Bob Arum, kind of ballsy now. He just came out and said they control, basically like, you know when somebody get a little cocky? You know if you see somebody, man, you know, back in the day, you see somebody, man, and they don't really have much to say when they see you, you know? But then when they have a little 3, 4, 5 friends, they have a little crew with them, and they puffing up their chest. You know what I mean? Get a little cocky. That's how Bob Arum's acting. He's a little bit cocky now, puffing up his chest. Everybody else struggling out here financially. Everybody else don't know where the next meal is coming from. But I got the Saudis. We got the Saudi dough over here. We're making that Arab money. So yeah, we're not gonna go and chase after nobody at PBC. We're not worried about the network Showtime. We got ESPN. But at the end of the day, we got Saudi money. We control most of the money. So if anybody wants to do anything, they gotta come see us. Boy, oh boy. Now, for those who are saying, hey look man, if Bob Arum's not lying, because over there in Saudi Arabia, they have that wealth fund. They have a wealth fund, right? Which is just for growing, for boosting the economy of the country and for sports and different things, just to help the country to put on events and do things that could get it to be seen in a different light. That's one of the purposes of that wealth fund. So when you see all these sporting events and these big time money they're putting up for people, they have a wealth fund out there valued at damn near $1 billion. That's just for that. That's a fact. I did the research on it. I did videos on it. So now you come and you say, okay, Hood Champion been talking for a while about why in the world Bob Arum. It all comes back full circle. I wasn't the only one talking about this. Why would Bob Arum be paying a guy like Kinahan a consultation fee? Bob Arum been in boxing for how many years? But you want to pay this guy who had something to do with the Irish mob, who had to flee the United States to Dubai, now has gone missing, right? You paying this guy consultation fees? This guy is known for fixing fights and having a strong influence over boxing matches. This man was up for something of the year award in boxing. He didn't win, but he was up for that. This individual, Kinahan. Okay, you look at the whole thing with the Deontay Wilder fights, the money that was put up for those fights. You look at the person who was putting up the money for Wilder and for AJ and Fury, although it didn't happen. Eddie Hearn was connected to that, right? Al Heyman, PBC, and Showtime. What connection do they have to Kinahan? Nothing, in my understanding. What connection do they have to Saudi, to where they can put on an event over there? Nothing, it's my understanding. So then you come down, you see Bob Arum, and those guys got things locked down because they had the connection through Kinahan, and although Kinahan's gone missing, there's still a rapport there with people who can put up the money and those who are still involved in their secret society to ensure that, you know what, our events can still go forward. Now, I'm not saying this. I think before there was some foul stuff going on. You know, I think that's my opinion. I'm just telling you, I'm having a conversation. And right now, to me, I'm asking questions because it doesn't make sense. So, Bob Arum, he has a working relationship with the Saudis. But when you start trying to peel this back, to trying to solve for the where is this? We have an idea where the money's coming from, but why? Why is it only you and Eddie Hearn are able to kind of pull some things off? And why are you not taking a position to where you're like, hey, we're not going to make big fights with anyone unless they want to sit there and conform to our demands, because big bank takes little bank. But for me, I just found it odd that Bob Arum would come out and say that. I feel like he took it to the stupid. Should have held his horses and not took it to the stupid. Because to me, to some people, that means nothing to him. Well, he's just stating a fact. Look, they control most of the money. Shakur Stevenson doesn't have to go beg Gervonta Davis for no fight. Yeah, Gervonta Davis is a big star. He may do well on pay-per-view, but hey, Shakur Stevenson can make 5 times that without worrying about the pay-per-view because he can get a huge guarantee from the Saudis. We just have to find the right opponent and have the fight over there in the Middle East. Let me tell y'all something. If only the fly on the wall could talk. Man, it's just interesting. And I think we should have a conversation. You know, I think we should. Just because that MTK Global crap was disbanded, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be paying attention to the movements in boxing. And especially, just timeline things. All the activity going on in certain places. How? When did it really start? You know, you timeline it. And you look at when certain people had some heat put on them, and then all of a sudden, no more onesie, twosie type things when you start to see now more activity going on in those areas. How? You gotta have a consultant, an advisor, a subject matter expert on boxing, promoting boxing events, and the in and outs of taking boxing from that zygotic stage and allowing it to birth into what boxing is becoming in Saudi Arabia right now, and the plans to go and start to ease over into Africa. And when you take a look at that, and you take a look at where there's been some suspicious activities, right? And look at where else, reportedly, there have been some suspicious activities. And when you start to piece all that together, and the person or persons who are involved in those things, makes you wonder. Makes you wonder what's really going on. So that being said, it looks like Tank Davis, he may have to be the one to cross the street if he wants to get a big payday and fight someone like Shakur. Anybody looking to fight Tyson Fury, anybody over there on Top Rank, right? It looks like those guys are going to have to come on over to Top Rank. They're going to have to sit there, man, and kind of, if they want to make the money that's going to be on the table, they're going to have to come over there and see Bob Arum. Because Bob Arum sat up there, man, he puffed up his chest and put the whole boxing world on notice. Anybody want to come out here and mess with me? Come on. But just understand, we control most of the money. So get out of here with that. And I just think for me, I'm paying attention more than ever now. It's like I always say, this is interesting to me. That's why I talk so much about it. Because it's true. Fighters, let me tell you something. What's his name? Frank Sanchez. He would not be fighting on this Canelo card if he wasn't training with Eddie Reynoso again. Frank Sanchez left Eddie Reynoso, went to Joe Goulston, which was the worst mistake he could have made. This man went from being active to being inactive. Because whenever Canelo fight, because Canelo's an active fighter, Frank Sanchez is going to be on the card. So he's back with Canelo, he's on the card. So it's almost like you need to have, it's almost like having a sponsor. You know, if these fighters don't have like a sponsor, what are they going to do? You know what I'm saying? Sit there, get set aside, get benched. But let's see how this plays out, because now the question is if it's true that Showtime's if they're exiting boxing, right? If they're going to step away from boxing, is that voluntarily, or what's going on behind the scenes that's forcing them out of the sport? Because I'm going to be honest, it seemed to me that Showtime was doing pretty good. Why all of a sudden are they getting out of boxing? It happened to HBO. Right? Now Showtime? We know ESPN. That's a whole nother ball of wax. They ain't going nowhere. But we're going to have to wait and see. Because if Showtime goes out, what's going to happen to PBC? And word on the street, because Eddie Hearn can't hold water, is, Al Heyman's already shopping around trying to find another distributor. Trying to find another distributor, man. You know what I'm saying? Another network. Because Showtime is what it is and what's going on with them. That being said, we got to sit back and wait and see what is true and what's not true. But one thing I know for a fact is Bob Arum is letting everyone know we got the money over here. We run things. And it is what it is. So as far as us boxing fans wanting to see any real big fight from someone over at PBC fighting someone over there with Bob Arum, let me tell you something. That's going to be like pulling teeth. Because Bob Arum ain't trying to negotiate and hear nothing from nobody. And what this is showing you is Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis, they're both going to be going down the same path as what Spence and Crawford went down, to where the other side of the street crap becomes a conversation, and the only ones who are really going to suffer are those guys, man. So it is what it is. But I truly believe Tank still is the big payday, man. I think Tank is where the money's at for pay-per-view, but we know over there in Saudi that pay-per-view crap don't really matter at all because they've got the money. They got the money. Give y'all guarantees. That's how they do business. We give y'all guarantees, flat rates. This is what you get. And you know you're getting that, and it is what it is. So they ain't worried about, those guys don't have to worry about pay-per-view if they do business over there with Saudi. That being said, man, we'll see if Bob is just talking. But I truly believe there's so much more to this. And I can't wait till next year where this whole trial kicks off. I can't wait. Because Bob Arum has already been subpoenaed to testify. There's a lot of people, not just him, but I want to see how that plays out. Because I don't care who you are. Some people are not built, and Bob's a lawyer, by trade, so he's a smart man. But some people ain't built for sitting there in this room and having a detective ask you questions, you know what I'm saying? And depending on the tactics and methods used to try to extract information, they can make somebody squirm a bit. And you could get someone who comes in there and starts talking about something that probably a person may wish they would not have. Now that being said, I'm going to leave it as that. But I've been telling y'all, the secret society is real. In my opinion, Bob Arum took it to the stupid. Because by him coming out talking about, look, we control most of the money now. And talking about the connections that he has out there in Saudi, which he does. It just makes me wonder. That relationship that he had with Kinahan, who he considered a friend, is that relationship still in place? Or has it really been dissolved? And if it has been dissolved, well, who is Kinahan working through? If it's true, who is he working through to make sure that the right decisions are being made to ensure that, boxing grows and will thrive in Saudi? Makes you wonder. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. And hey, for all we know, Kinahan could be over there on some island somewhere with Elvis Presley and Tupac chilling. And they probably got the Sasquatch as a pet. But hey, we're just having a conversation. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.